and this was Broken Arrow. And to talk about Broken Arrow, I've got here with me Félix Aber, Creative Director of Steel Balalaika.
Hello, Marco.
Hey.
Glad to be here.
Hello, Félix. Good to see you. It's been, you know, 7 months ago we've announced the game. So, you know, a lot of people have joined the Discord on Broken Arrow. Quite a lot of people.
Yeah, we get every day tens of people coming in to our personal, our private Discord, where everything started, and it's continuing to grow. So it's really pleasing to see.
It's really exciting. And Felix, before, you know, well, subscribe to the Discord, of course. You know, you guys, you have, you know, that's a good way to keep up to date with the game. But just because not everyone may be familiar with Broken Arrow out there, can you tell us what Broken Arrow is about?
Yep. So Broken Arrow, this is a real-time tactics / strategy game. It's set in a modern, realistic environment, so we're talking about 21st century warfare here. Mix of tactics and strategy, because this is a game where you have a deck system, you build your army before starting the battle, and but the problem of this kind of system is that it's very inflexible, rigid. Once the game has started, you cannot change your plan. So we have decided to bring some elements of the RTS in the mix to offer the player some more flexibility. So you have a simple economic system that allows you to bring reinforcements on the battlefield, call units back to the base to get some refund, and call new units instead. So we're not talking about the classic resource gathering and tech tree things. We are really focusing on combat still.
Well, to properly introduce the game, you've brought us a nicely edited clip, which works as an intro video for our talk. So let's take a look, and then we can come back and talk about the game more deeply.
Hell yeah.
Great. Nice music, by the way.
Yeah, it's composed internally by we have our own composer.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Hey, Evgeny.
So you see internal chats going on here. I've kind of seen that probably, you know, the military experts have seen some units they recognize. So you probably want to tell us more about what are the factions involved and what you can use in the game.
Absolutely. So our two factions are the USA and Russia, and they already totalized 200, more than 200 units actually, just for these two nations. So we have infantry, vehicles, helicopters, planes, a few landing crafts. So yep, quite a lot of units for these two nations.
And you were saying about the deck before, which is, you know, a big part of the game, right? You
Absolutely.
know, building your own deck. So let's start from here. We have 3 actual in-game clips that are actually captured from alpha footage. So everything we show today is very much alpha, so don't think this is final, but you know, you'll already see some big hints of what the game's going to look.
Yeah, we're showing the game as it is, so we recorded it like 2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago, yeah, yeah. So,
here it is.
so first clip, let's take a look at the deck building system.
Okay, so here we are in the main menu of the game, and we will pay attention more particularly to the Arsenal tab, which is the place where all the units of the game are stored. You can watch the 3D models, learn their statistics, compare them. But what will interest us more is something more dynamic, is the army builder part. So to create a new deck, you select one nation, so here the USA, and then you can see there are 4 specializations for each nation. They are different for each of them, and you have to select 2 of them. So 2 out of 4, that makes 6 possible combinations, 6 archetypes of decks that will give the general shape of what you will be playing. Once you have selected your specialization, so your archetype, this is not over. You have 7 categories in the deck that have a different number of slots, and the number of slots depends on the specializations that you have selected. So these slots, you will put units in them. The number of slots is like a diversity limitation, because you can put only one type of unit per slot. If you want more different units, you need more slots. And there is also a quantitative limitation, which is the number of points that you can put in each category. Here again is limited depending on the specialization that you have selected, and depending on the price of the unit. So these number of points correspond to the price of units. So you can have a high variation of units, but if they are all very expensive, you will not be able to put a lot of them every time.
Okay, in the battlefield. And there's a lot of customization you need, because you said 200 units. These are only the base units, right? Then you can customize them.
Yes, exactly. I said 200 plus because I've stopped counting a moment ago. This doesn't include the specialization, of course. Like here, we have an Abrams tank changing the armor. Yeah, technically that's changing the statistics, but nobody will tell you that this is a real unit, you see. So this is 200 plus real different units, and then all the customizations on top of that. That's why I've stopped counting.
Yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
Generally, the customization, you have, well, you can see armor, an extra self-protection weapon. You can change the type of ammunition for artillery. You can change the sensors to something more or less modern to see better on the battlefield. So really a lot of possible combinations. All the people who love deck building will be really happy with this system, where you can go always further, more in detail in what you want for your army.
Yeah, it looks like this is almost like a game on its own, right? You know, it just feels like you're playing. This is the first part of your game.
It's the pleasure of the mind, and then the pleasure of the eyes and the ears when you see them fighting. I'm myself a big Magic player, and well, making your deck is a big part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see some more planes here as well. Building the models so that they can be modified. How hard is that?
Well, it complexifies things a lot. In fact, because instead of having a single entity that you can easily manage with all these characteristics, that forces us to split it into different elements that have to move together, to be destroyed together, and etc. So it's increasing the complexity of the development, of course, but this is really something we wanted to have, because customization, this is the essence of 21st century units. They have to have a lot of modularity, and since we wanted to represent that, we had to have a lot of modularity in the game too.
That makes a lot of sense. One thing I couldn't help noticing in the deck building, well, when you showed us the main menu, is that there's an editor in the game.
Yes.
So we have a video for that, but can you tell us how did you implement the editing for the mission editor?
Yes. So it's a mission editor, which is both a development tool. So we are using it to create the solo content of the game at the moment, and this is also a tool that we will deliver to the players once the game will be out. So
let's take a look at this.
We can take a look
clip, yeah.
how it looks. So generally, you launch a map. You have do we have the video? Yes. You launch a map. You place the different elements required by the scenario on it. So either you can pre-place the units. You place triggers, objectives. You will have spawn points for the enemy or for yourself if you need it. And once you have positioned all the elements you need, then we have a visual scripting tool that will allow you, well, to link all that into a script and have like dialogues and things like that to create a real scenario. So this is the tool we are using, and this is we make two rocks by one bird. No, one rock, two birds. Yeah. Sorry, one rock, two birds. To offer that to the player with the game, because yeah, that's really good for the community to be able to express its creativity through the game.
For sure, yeah. I think this is showing the potential of how big a general growth, natural growth of the game is if you put this in the hands of the community. But we've got some time left, and we brought us something very special, right? Over 10 minutes of actual gameplay being recorded.
Yeah, I thought people would like to see a bit of the game.
Yeah, that's making a lot of sense, Felix. So we're now launching 10 minutes of gameplay, and we're going to talk over it. So you're going to see the game in full action. You tell us what we see in the gameplay clip, and then we can talk over it. Yeah, let's take a look.
So, just to say how we did these videos, we created scenarios with the editor that we showed previously. We played them and we recorded them, and that's it. That's what you have. So it's really it's cut sometimes, but non-edited content. So this is what you will play with.
You make it sound very easy.
Well, actually, once you have developed the tools, that's the idea of the tool. Make the creation easy. So we really hope that, since it's dedicated to be used by players, we want it to be easy to do.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, there is a lot of work remaining, but you will get a good feeling of the ambient.
But one of the things about Modern Warfare is that the battlefields are huge, right? So you've got to think about this long-range weapons, and it's not like World War II close encounter and such. It's modeling that is not easy. Can you tell us a bit more about the size of the maps and how they how the battles pan out?
It's really not an easy choice, because in fact the real range of modern weapons can go over hundreds of kilometers. So, but representing we cannot represent both infantry fighting in a building at less than 100 meters sometimes in urban combat, and super long-range missile that goes several hundreds of kilometers. So we had to choose a scale. We tried to find the scale that allows to feel both, to feel the close quarter intensity of the infantry, and the extent of the missile range over several kilometers sometimes.
Here we see also a lot of the UI. How final is that UI you're seeing?
For instance, on the top left, you have the purchase menu where you can see the 7 categories. So I will go a bit over there a bit later.
Yeah.
On the top right, you have interesting thing. You have the time controller, like you can speed up or slow down the time. You can even pause the game if you want. This is possible thanks to these buttons. In fact we didn't demonstrate them because we play in one time, but they're already functional. Then you have on the bottom right, when you select unit, you see the action panel, which is popping sometimes. This is where you give all the orders to your units. This one is still work in progress because we still have some features to add to the game. So these are the basic orders of the units. At the bottom in the middle, you have the selection panel. So this one is regroups the information about your units. You can manage each weapons. When a weapon has multiple types of ammunition, you can manage the types of ammunition here. So if you want, for instance, to avoid shooting your missiles, you turn off the missiles and just use the machine gun, for instance, or generally the tank shells. So that's management of the unit itself. The little picture you see is placeholder. It's either always an Abrams tank or some work in progress art.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So some of the assets here are still missing. And in the bottom left, this is our debug menu. Where with all here it's open, where you see all the next tools that are still being developed but couldn't yet be put in the interface properly. Yeah. So elevation tool, line of sight tool, that kind of thing, plus real debugs that we're using for development.
And you were saying on the left-hand side, your purchase menu, because you were waiting for a specific moment where you actually start using it, right?
Well, not really. It's it's a long topic, so
okay.
I wanted to go over the general
that makes sense.
idea.
You said this is made with the editor. You started as an editor, right? A game editor. That's how
That's how I entered in the video game world because myself I started making my own missions on Operation Flashpoints 20 years ago. That's how I started creating things with video games, and I never stopped then. And now, that's why I want to offer to new people, to new players, the same tool that I use to start to express my creativity. And I think, I really hope to help a new generation of video game designers with these tools.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, one of the things I would stress again is that this is alpha, so what you see is what is the actual state of development now, but there's a ton of things missing, right?
Yeah, when I watch the video myself, I only see the bugs. And some of them are already corrected, like we recently added some effects when the helicopter are crashing, like the tail rotor in flames with the black smoke explosion the video was recorded 2 weeks ago, so at one point you have to stop because
absolutely.
The game is always improving every week. It's for me. It's like, we already corrected that. If only this show was 2 weeks later, this would have been so much better. But it's a never-ending story.
Absolutely, no. It's great that we can actually see this because I don't know what the comments are in the chat right now, and I wish I could read what people are saying. But when I see Broken Arrow and when I see the stuff you send over. I can really see that you've got an eye for, making things happen at the same time, make them look spectacular and cool. So you're hiding what is missing very, very, very well here, but still show a lot of what the game is going to be about.
What is interesting for the players, I think, they didn't see until now is really the scale. The scale of the game. Some people are expecting, because we say tactic strategy, it's a bit people don't know what we're talking about. Some of them expect a game where it's about controlling soldiers one by one, window by window in the city. Some of them expect something like a global strategy where you manage the resources of your country. So the advantage of this video is that it will help people visualize more the scale that we've chosen for the game, the distance of engagement. For instance, these tanks, they are shooting over well, more than 1 kilometer. You have artillery. These things, they will help people visualize. And
no,
that's
absolutely.
a lot of question we had from the community members on Discord. How is it gonna be? How is it gonna be? So here it is.
Yeah.
That gives you a better understanding of that.
When we're saying we're alpha right now, when is it that you think the game is going to hit beta? And I'm not asking when the game's releasing, because you don't like that question.
I don't like any question about delay. Whatever. No, the beta. Generally, here we are at a state where the game can be shown. The next step is, of course, the moment where the game is ready to be played. When we have erased enough bugs that people won't crash too much, when we have balanced things in a way that allow people to enjoy the feeling of the game and not just stumble upon all the placeholder values that we've put everywhere. Because at the moment, when we integrate units, it's like, okay, copy paste the tanks next to it, change the name, change the 3D model. Okay, next tank. That's the way you integrate things in a development.
Well, tell us, Q2, Q3 for beta, Q2 probably?
Well, probably Q2 for the beta. Generally, that's it. It's when we hope to receive from the player comments on the feeling of the game when they play it, and not when they see it crash or when they see mistakes. You see, so it's the moment when you're in the development. At one point, you stop seeing the problems because you're too much involved. Yeah. And that's the moment where you need an outside view of your game, an outside criticism that tells you this is wrong, this is right, I want this, not this. And until now, we haven't reached this moment because we already see our own problems. Like, okay, this is missing, this is too much, this is too long, this is too short. So it's too early for them.
Absolutely. So, as I said at the beginning, if you want to keep up to date on the game development, join the Discord. It's already very active, and there's a lot of people in there. But join the Discord because it's a great way of keeping up to date on what how development's going. Is there anything else you would like to add at this point, Felix? On
Well, I really think we will receive tons of comments from the community. Of course, positive and negatives, they are very welcome because they help us progress. They give us a barometer of our progress, and I'm pretty sure we will receive so many comments that this will be new material for us to work. And yeah, we will. Now that we have clearer picture, we will be able to talk more precisely with people about what they would like, what they don't want to see.
Yeah, and I think that remember, guys, I started this show 4 hours ago with the idea of, this is a show for the community. Still Balalaika is a Baroque Arrow was a community project that started as as someone from a community, trying to do their own thing. So it's a perfect closure for to finish this with Broken Arrow, because it's really coming to giving you the idea of what we're trying to communicate here. That community is a vital part of everything we do, and of course. The feedback you're going to receive is going to be a vital part of the success of the product.
It will always be respected because that's where the game came from. So we are not above the mass.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Felix. This has been amazing. We're still seeing stuff about the game. Felix has come here with a load of materials, and almost like Santa Claus and the presents with the presents. So thanks for
Rangers all the way.
Thanks for showing us the game. It's been exciting. We are going to move to the next phase now.